Welcome to Restart at Any Age out of beautiful Santa Cruz. Today's episode is about turning points and what helps us through them. Because for decades, the Ladies of Bonny Doon have been quietly doing just that, bringing women together, supporting one another, and helping each other find their place, no matter what stage of life they're in. And today we're talking to two women, Pat Sutcliffe and Lisa Shallop, who found their way into that circle, each through their own turning point. This is a conversation about change, connection, and what it really means to come home to a place and to yourself. Welcome, Lisa and Pat.
Thank you.
Thank you both very much for being there. So, Bonny Doon is a place that's very special, and it's outside of Santa Cruz, and it's surrounded with redwood forest. And so it's a very interesting place to find on one's life journey. One might never find it. So just let's go to Pat first of all, please. How did you arrive at Bonny Doon?
So I came to Bonny Doon due to a friend of mine. And so I came up here one day looking for property because I was leaving where I lived, Petaluma. And so I came up here and I met a woman, a realtor, who was also a member of the Ladies Club. And we came up on Highway 1 along the coast. And then we came up Bonny Doon Road and looked around up here and saw several places. And I found one that I really liked. And this is the one I'm living in now.
Right. Okay. And Lisa, how did you come across Bonny Doon?
Well, I was living in the Bay Area, working as a software engineer for Hewlett Packard for many years. I retired in 2012 and found my way over to Santa Cruz. I started volunteering at the Seymour Marine Discovery Center and fell in love with the ocean. One afternoon, I was hiking with some of my friends from the Seymour Center. We ran into these women in Fall Creek who were from Bonny Doon, and they invited me to join their hiking group.
Okay.
After that, it took my husband about 7 years, but he finally found the perfect place up here in Bonny Doon. And that was in 2018 when we moved up here.
Right, right. Okay. So you both came from totally different backgrounds. So Pat, please describe what you were doing before life in Bonny Doon.
So I lived in Petaluma and I worked at Fireman's Fund Insurance Company in their information technology department. And I started as a programmer. I worked there for over 30 years. And so by the time I left there, I was a senior manager and senior systems manager. And we were given an opportunity to reapply for our jobs because the company decided that our department was too expensive. So I looked at it and it was a hard decision to make because I had worked there for 30 years. I was in my 50s, so I wasn't really all that ready to retire. But I decided that my husband had died the previous year and I needed a change. So I decided to not reapply for my job. And that way I was assured of getting my pension. So between my pension and getting my husband's Social Security when I turned 60. I managed to keep the funds going, and I had met a woman that I became good friends with, and she wanted to live in Bonny Doon, so I came up here and looked and found a beautiful spot. So Lisa and I have very different properties, but um, they're also they're also similar in that we have a site of a lot of trees. Since the fire, I could see the ocean,
Oh, wow. Okay.
but yeah, it is just gorgeous, and it's coming back now from the CZU fire
Yeah,
5 years
we'll
ago.
talk about that in a minute. Yeah.
Yeah,
So Bonnie Doon itself was named, I believe, at the beginning of the 19th, well, around 1902, by a chap who settled there, obviously Scottish, and he named it after Robbie Burns, the poet's one of his poems that he had about Bonnie Doon. And of course, Bonnie is beautiful. So then I guess he saw the beauty of the place, and then Doon followed that. The river was the Doon, but you don't have a river there, do you?
we do have some small creeks, I think.
Ah,
Maybe
right.
not rivers, but
Yeah, not
creeks.
not a main river. Right, yes. But anyway, the name stuck and became Bonnie Doon at that point. And after thousands of years of native people living there. And then the loggers came in, of course, because of all the redwoods. And what's different about the town? Lisa, tell me what's different about the town compared to other towns.
Well, even just calling it a town is a little bit of a stretch.
Yeah,
Only three commercial things in Bonny Doon. There's a winery, a church, and a school. Well, and I guess our volunteer fire department. But there's no main street or downtown. It's really just an area of, I think, about 1,000 homes.
Mm-hmm. Okay. And then I believe it was around 1942 that the ladies of Bonnie Doon decided to get together and form a club. Is that correct?
It
That
was
is
around then, yeah. They they formed the club to support the World War II, and so they rolled bandages and did that kind of work that women do. And it was a much smaller group back then, but it started with the same things that we have now, the social and giving.
Right. Yes,
Yeah.
yes. But a much smaller group. So before both your lives, before you settled into Bonnie Doon, did you feel that there was something in life that was possibly missing, or were you totally settled in your previous lives?
Well, in my previous life, I thought I was settled. I had my family and I worked long hours, and I had a nice home there, and I had friends and we did things. But um, I don't know. It was one of the things we did is we did wine tasting. So
Right,
when I came to Bonnie Doon, I applied for a job at Bonnie Doon Winery, and
right.
and I got a job there pouring wine for people to taste the wines. So I did that for about 4 years here.
Yes, I've tasted the rosé of Bonnie Doon. What else do they make? That's very good.
Oh, they have a white wine it's a blend, and they have Cabernet, they have Roussanne, they have Mourvedre.
Okay. Okay.
Is a dry red wine, and so yeah, they make a lot of different wines.
Right. And so, Lisa, when you arrived in Bonnie Doon, you decided to be a ham radio operator.
Yes, I didn't quite realize, I think, when I first moved up to Bonnie Doon, the impacts of things like power outages and winter storms and fires. And I quickly learned from actually a friend of mine in the Bonnie Doon Ladies Club who had a joke. She called it hamster radio that she would use to communicate when there was no internet or cell service. So I quickly got my ham radio license so I could have some way to communicate during these times that I wasn't quite accustomed to when I was living in the city.
Right, right. Yeah. Well, very innovative. And I guess, it was necessary. So, and also drone, you learned about drones, correct?
Yes, I love to fly my drone around the beautiful areas of Bonny Doon, but I also got my drone license because I volunteer with an organization called Marine Life Studies, and we help with entangled whales. So
Ah,
if a whale gets entangled in a crab pot or a fishing net, one of the most important things is to be able to document it so the rescuers know what to do to safely free it. And drone footage is really important for dealing with entangled whales.
right. Yeah, that's the wonderful thing. I mean, you're in the most beautiful redwood location, but not far from the ocean.
Absolutely. We have quite a unique area with the beauty of both the mountains and the ocean.
Yes, absolutely. So to go back to the club, it started to grow with the influx of new people. How is that how it all kind of developed?
Yes, I think, well, we all reach out to people and call them to come and visit us at club meetings. And we've gotten quite a few new members this last year or two. Um, and it just, the club evolves,
Yeah.
um, and we have our president was bringing it back into a more formalized group. We were more social, but didn't go anywhere anymore. So now we're trying to make it so that we have that socialization and we just help each other naturally, but we also look for outings and things like that to do together. And tomorrow we're going to have a meeting at my house, and
Mhm.
that's one of the topics on the agenda is, so do we want to go somewhere, and where would we go, and that kind of thing. So and to be able to support this, we wrote the book. Um,
Right. Tell me more about the book.
so the book it's a soft cover book. It's called More Memories of the Mountain: Family Life in Bonny Doon from 2000 to 2025. And it covers all the people, the businesses, the just what life in Bonny Doon is like. There's some there's some very special parts that are meaningful to me. So Ryan Beauregard owns the winery that used to be Bonny Doon Vineyard, but he wrote a letter to his girls. He has two girls that, I don't know, they're young women now, but he wrote just a touching, beautiful letter to them. That was a surprise. We just have so many different people here. Morgan Rankin, I mentioned her, that she a was in the social media, and she was the writer of the Battle Mountain News, and so she graduated from Cornell University with her sister Bork, and she earned her master's in journalism. And she just the Battle Mountain News covers everything that's going on in Bonny Doon,
Okay.
and you can pay for like a small section of it or a full page or ad or whatever, but it helps the people here, especially. I liked it when I first moved here because we tore down our house and rebuilt it, and we had to find people to do things, and
Right.
that's how we found a lot of the people.
Okay. All right. And
So
and I believe you mentioned earlier that it's covered the fire that happened, the very
It
big fire.
it covers the CZU fire, and it's mostly from the perspective of the people who stayed here to fight it, who
Yeah,
were not necessarily volunteer firemen. Some of them had been volunteer firemen in their past, but they were here, and the fire was so large that the fire departments were overwhelmed.
yeah, I
And
bet.
so when we evacuated, we went to the fire department, and the firemen had just come back because they didn't have water, and they were told they had to go back. They had to stand down. They couldn't fight any more fires. And the fires were just starting to rage then. It was 2 o'clock in the morning, and it was just very, very bad. People up here were just doing just all kinds of things. Someone came to my house and pulled bushes away from the side of my house because they were had oil in them, not rosemary, lavender. They were
Oh,
lavender
lavender.
plants,
Wow.
and they just pulled them away from the house because the fires were burning like 2 feet away from my house.
Oh my goodness, how terrifying.
Yeah, and of course I wasn't here when that happened, but uh,
Oh,
yeah, I
you were
just
away from Bonnie Doon at that point?
we left. We left at 2 o'clock in the morning. We evacuated.
Oh, you'd evacuated, right?
Yeah,
Okay. Yeah. So, so,
and
so what
we
was
didn't
your
expect
experience? Sorry.
we didn't expect to find our home here when we came back. We thought it
Right.
would be gone.
So it was
Yeah.
neighbors that actually helped save it.
Yes, yes.
Yeah. So that tells you a lot about community there.
It, it does, but they also won't tell me who did it.
Oh, really? You
Yeah,
haven't found out?
I haven't found out. No, they won't tell me. I
Wow.
have my suspicions, but
Oh my God. What would be the reasoning behind that?
well, it wasn't legal to stay here.
Mm-hmm.
We were evacuated because it was a bad place to be. And if you were here, you could be arrested.
Oh, I see. Okay.
So they didn't
Oh,
want to
yeah.
have people know that they were here.
So that makes it much clearer on
Yes,
why they would not,
yes,
announce themselves
right.
being there.
But
Absolutely. Yeah.
over the years, they've gotten so that they wrote, one of the guys wrote a section in the book that's really touching, and there's just a lot in here about just what people went through.
Yeah.
It it's amazing, and I think it was good for people to be able to write about that too,
Yes.
because it was something in their lives that changed their lives forever,
Yes,
even
of
if
course.
they did rebuild, you know.
Yes.
And some people didn't. They moved to Santa Cruz or they moved to Utah or wherever.
Yeah. So, Lisa, what was your experience then at that time?
So, my experience with the fire, we were fortunate that it encircled us, but it was about 100 yards away, mostly due to some luck that the fire didn't actually reach here till about a week later. And by that time, some of the reinforcements from out of town, the reinforcement firefighters were able to get here. So at that point, after about a week of the fire, there were firefighters here from both CAL FIRE and the Bureau of Land Management, 24 hours a day for about 3 weeks fighting that fire. And they definitely saved our house, our neighborhood, and probably the whole city of Santa Cruz. The final line from the fire where they stopped it went around our house and all the way down to the coast in Davenport. So it was a
Yeah.
very crazy time. There were people that stayed behind and saved things like our water system and other things. And we're just really grateful that they were here.
Absolutely. That they just didn't listen to the rules.
Well,
Yes.
and as Lisa was talking about the fire going through Davenport and everything, there's Last Chance Road was, there was one person who died there. That's the only person who died.
Oh dear.
And it
Mm.
was, I mean, it was a huge fire. You just can't imagine how frightening it was. But most people did leave. Um, but the ones that stayed to fight their own and their neighborhoods, and that
Yeah.
they
Right.
formed brigades.
Right. So why was there such a shortage of water that they just didn't have enough water to fight it?
Well, we're on well water.
Ah,
Our well wasn't working. We were out of our house for a year because we couldn't get enough water to take a shower, uh, cook a meal, anything. So, um, yeah.
right. But you stayed, and at any time has it occurred to both of you, oh, maybe I made a mistake?
By
I think
coming back here, no, no.
no way. I think we learned a lot and we're better prepared. We have a generator now to keep that well pump going, so there would be water. And yeah, we have alternate forms of communication like Starlink and ham radio. And I think we all learned a lot from that fire and will be smarter next time for sure.
Right, right. And you have the support of all the club around you, of course. So,
Yes.
you can support each other that way. That must be, is that something you knew now realize that, gosh, my life was different without this club?
I would say absolutely. I have learned so much from the people in this club, and just knowing that they're there when you need advice or support or anything, and that you can be there for others. I think that's a really important part. I think that the club has over time adapted to really what was needed. And probably in the last 5 years, well, there was certainly COVID when we were meeting on Zoom
Right.
and, missing our cake and coffee meetings, but we were still in touch with each other. And there was the fire, and it feels actually kind of good now to be supporting the school and planning field trips and sort of moving on after those kind of rough times.
Right, yes. Now you've raised money for the local school, I believe.
Yeah, we have a lot of we every year we vote on what charities we want to support. And this year we did a big project for the school in the terms of an educational mural that they're going to paint and create out of this 3D artwork mural. But in past years, we've donated from, things to the volunteer fire department, the fire safe council, the school, the preschool. We really try to stay flexible and just look around and see what needs to be done and figure out how we can help.
Right, yeah.
Can you tell about the New Day? Do you know much about that?
Oh,
What's
yeah.
that?
So one of the other organizations that we're helping with this year, and we have, I think, for a couple of years, is I'm forgetting the name of it now, but it's close to what you said, Pat. Bright
Yeah, I
New
know. It's
Day.
not. I can't remember exactly. It's a new day.
Anyway,
Is a part partially what.
beautiful day. Beautiful
A
day.
beautiful day. Yeah.
Yeah, a beautiful day. And they're helping people restore their yards and gardens after the fire.
Yeah,
So, it's a big enough project to get your house rebuilt. If you can do that, this group wants to help you go that extra step and help you restore your gardens, your yards, your trees, your flowers, your fences, your things like that to help bring that beauty back.
yes. Well, that's a wonderful organization just to, help people resettle again, you know.
Yeah, and they actually came to our house the first year they were doing it. Went out into our backyard of trees and kind of made it safer for the trees that had fallen and were leaning and this and that, cut them down, did a lot of work in the back, which
Right.
helped us tremendously.
Yes. You have very special ecosystem there, I believe.
It is. And
Yeah.
we're very dependent upon it, you know.
Hmm.
We have wells for our water. We have we our septic is our own. It's like we don't have any cities, you know, supply us with things. So it makes you more independent.
Right, right. Yeah, and with regards to the club, I believe you've both been the chairwomen at some time at some point, is that
Yeah,
correct? Lisa, go ahead and tell us.
Yes, Pat and I are both past presidents
yeah.
of the club. So I was the president, I think 2019 to 2023. So
Okay.
through kind of COVID and the fire, and Pat was the president before that.
I was 2 or 3 years ahead of Lisa as president.
Yes.
Oh,
Okay. Okay. So you were president through the COVID time.
Yes, and we had to meet on Zoom, but it was a way for us to keep in touch, and I think that that was really important before we could come back and start meeting and having our coffee and desserts in people's houses again.
Yeah, yeah. So when you first joined the club, both of you, I mean, what did you expect from it?
I would say I really didn't know what to expect. One of the neat things is the way that we meet every meeting at a different person's house. So as a new person to Bonnie Doon, I got to go see all these different neighborhoods and different people's houses and learn about all these streets and roads that I didn't know about. So that was one of the things that was really appealing. But I think what I never imagined was how supportive everyone would be when you needed something, and how good it made me feel to be able to support other people when they had something that I could help with.
Right. And Pat, did you have
I
the
think
same experience?
I think I just thought it was just a bunch of, excuse the term, old women together. And I didn't think it was going to be that good. But I found that I made a lot of good friends and that it did become an important part of my life.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. What makes it different from any other group?
I'm not sure. I think it's the variety of women that are involved in it and that they've been doing it for a long time. And they're, I think all of the women are very interested in keeping it going and keeping it alive and interesting.
Yeah. Okay. Has it actually shown up that of any instance you can think of to support somebody in any way?
Well, I mean, we had a one of our members died, and so we went. Several people cooked meals and brought them to him and to her husband and family, and tried
Mm,
to help them recover from the loss.
right.
We did that for a couple of people. I don't know any one thing that we've done for people. You know, it's just a lot of smaller things,
Well,
and,
yes. It's the
and
small things that add up, though, isn't it?
it does, and it makes you feel really good if you've taken a burden from someone.
Yes. Yes. So, Lisa, have you thought this is where I belong? This is it for me?
I would agree with that. Yes. It's hard to it's hard to put it into words, but I think as Pat was saying, the different things that we do for different people, it just depends on the situation. And just being with a bunch of creative, resilient, strong women and looking around and seeing what needs to be done, and then picking up the whatever it is and doing it, I think is the true kind of history of the club and what makes us want to keep it going into the future.
Yeah, very good. And what was the title of the book again?
It's memories, more memories of the mountain. We had a memories of the mountain way back when I first joined. And this is the second level of it. And it is family life in Bonny Doon 2000 to 2025.
Right.
I
Yes.
think,
Sorry.
yeah, I was going to say, I think we should say a little bit about the first book too, just to set the stage for the second book. But the first book went from 1800 to the year 2000. It goes into a little bit of the history
That's
of
a
Bonnie
huge
Doon.
amount of time.
Yeah, it is. Some of the history, kind of what the area is, and kind of lays the foundation. And we were selling this book. It was flying off the shelves all the way until the year about 2020, or well, let's say a little after the fire, a little after 2020 and the fire, when people started saying, this book is great, but a lot has happened since then. And it was a big project to write that second book. But there were
Yeah.
some people, including
Yeah.
Pat and our current president, that really, really got to give them a lot of kudos for taking it on and collecting all the articles and organizing it and formatting it and getting it published. But then the second book goes from 2000 to 2025, and I hope somebody's here in 2050 to write the next one.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Huge amounts of time when you think about it and everything that happens in the
Yeah.
world, let alone Bonnie Doon.
Yeah.
Susan, if I might, I would like to read two chapters from it talks about what the club is and that if is that all right?
Um, Yet two chapters.
Two paragraphs.
Oh, two paragraphs. I was going to say
Yeah.
two chapters might be a
No,
bit
two
long.
chapters would be way too much.
Two paragraphs. Yes.
Yes,
Please go
okay.
ahead.
So the members of the Ladies of Bonny Doon Club are strong mountain women who enjoy living in the space that Bonny Doon provides as it calms our spirits. However, living in these mountains provides challenges as well, and we rely on each other in times of need, providing support when one of us is ill or needs help. The Ladies of Bonny Doon Club is a social and philanthropic club where we make good friends and share experiences. Many members have been going to meetings for years. We have always chosen to support our local community and have raised money and given freely to achieve this.
Very good. Thank you. And where is that book available? Is it available widely?
It's well, it is available at the winery, and if anyone wants it, you could get it to me. Um, my email is p.sutliff, SUTLIFF, at comcast.net. And just send me a note and I will make arrangements to get it to you.
And it's available at the Santa Cruz Bookshop or Bookshop Santa Cruz, right?
That's true. Yeah.
Right. Okay.
Both
Wonderful.
both the new one and the old one are at the bookshop. Yeah.
Right. Well, thank you very much for telling us all about the club. And I wish you very well for all the, future to come. And judging from its history, it's going to be a long one.
I think so. Thank you.
Yes. Thank you very much and for your time and for being here.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you very much.
Life doesn't always go as planned. Sometimes we're asked to pivot, to begin again in ways we didn't expect. What we've heard today is that those moments don't have to be faced alone. In Bonnie Doon, the Ladies' Club is a reminder that connection can change everything. You can check your own Ladies' Club. And sometimes the smallest step, just showing up, can be the beginning of something new. Restart at any age. and I'll see you in the next chapter. Playing you out with Madame Rose Sylvie. I'm
Acabei de alcançar o mar. Esse é o lugar pra se adequar. É bom seu ar só pra relaxar.